Okay, flight simmers, we're going to be flying the Cirrus SR22 today from Galveston, Scholes International Airport, Kilo Golf Lima Sierra, to George Bush International, Kilo India Alpha Hotel. And we are going to be flying into runway number 26 left with a frequency of 109.7. So you can see that information up here that I've entered, just using the world map. And I selected IFR, low altitude airways, and selected this runway. So the frequency for that runway we can find by going to flightplandatabase.com right there. Copy that down. Enter the hit tools, enter the airport code, which is Kilo India Alpha Hotel, and up comes George Bush International Airport and all the runways you have. And for runway 26 left, the localizer is 109.70 megahertz, so you want to copy that down. We're going to check that when we get in the plane. So we're going to hit fly now, and it's going to take us right to the runway. So all the pre-flight checks will have been completed. I'm just going to turn off the air traffic control voices because we're just going to be doing a training flight here, and they can sometimes be very annoying in the background. So you can shut them off if you wish. Resume. So here we are sitting on the runway in Galveston. You can see we've got a little thunder and lightning going on, so this is real-time weather we're using here. Let's hit ready to fly. And let's take a look at this airplane on the outside. You can see it's very nicely rendered. And so is the airport. Buildings, etc. Cirrus SR22, a real fun little plane to fly, very easy to fly, very nice flight management system instruments inside. Let's go inside and take a look at those instruments right now. So this is our primary screen here. So we've got a Garmin system, a very expensive system installed in this aircraft, which allows us to fly autopilot and flight management systems on your localizer and your approach hold and your autopilot. So that stuff's down here. So let's just take a look at what we have on the screen right now, VOR1. So the CDI button will change that. We want to select GPS, so it'll follow our flight plan. And then when we get closer, we'll click that button again, put it onto the localizer, and that reminds us that we need to set the nav frequency. So the nav frequency for the runway 26 left we saw was 109.7. So let's change that right now. Using the large knob here, we can set that, scroll that to 109. And using the small one, we can set this to 70. So we have to do this, and we have to make it active by hitting the swap button. You're not familiar with that, I'm sure. So now there's our active frequency. So we've got a caution here that the PTOT heat is off, so if you want to get rid of that, just hit the PTOT button right there, and that'll turn that off. Now let's just take a look here. So your flight plan, there it comes up. Your procedures, if you wanted to change something, departure, approach, arrival. We're just going to click, see if there's any more alerts, and click it again, and that'll disappear. The other thing we want to look at is the second screen here. We can hit flight plan on this. You know, it's just basically some of the same buttons over here, as you can see. But if we hit flight plan here, we will bring up the screen plus our flight plan. So now we can see our waypoints and our runway 26 left that we're headed for. And it gives you your distances. Now we don't have our altitudes here, but I'm sure that can be set up if you want to go to that length. Let's take a look at the range button here. That'll allow us to scroll in and out. So we can scroll out initially and then zoom in as we go. So we can see there that's going to be our flight path into George Bush. Let's now go down to Control 3 button, and we can see here we've got our nav, our heading, autopilot, level mode, flight director, and approach hold button. Up and down descent using your vertical speed mode. That's what I'm going to be using during this. So I'm going to set the altitude right now using this button right here. I want to set the altitude to 3,000. By scrolling on that, you can see it's changing right here. So that shows us what we're targeting. Just go down a little bit more here. Whoa. Just adjust that to 3,000. Now, here's our altimeter right here, and you can adjust that using your barometric pressure here. You have to press the button to switch between. Oh, here we go, right here. So the simplest way to adjust your barometric pressure is just to hit B on your keyboard. You see that automatically changed, and now that affects your altitude. Roadside for a second. We can see we're sitting at 10 feet above sea level. So let's go back inside again, and go Control 4. There's our throttle. It's at 0. And Control 5 will bring us to this screen, and that was that VTOL button we did. So what do we? And it also will allow you to see some of your. You can adjust your lights for inside if it's a little too dark. Control 6, park and brake set on right now. Control 7, Control 8, Control 9. So it takes us back to this screen right here. We'll go outside, and we are going to set our flaps for takeoff. I'm going to start revving up the engine. Park and brake, control boom. All our flight checks were always done for us. We're waiting here. Keep your eyes off the screen for a second. Have to take the nose down a bit for that stall warning. going to hit this and try and increase our speed, our vertical speed, but not by too much. You don't want to be going up too fast because you'll stall. Let's have a look at how this is working. Okay, so you can see our flight management system's tracking up our flight path. The flight plan we filed. So the plane is now turning. So I'm just going to zoom that in a little bit. There we go. Very cloudy. Let's see what it's like at looking. Real-time weather today, Galveston. So the Cirrus SR22 is a fun little plane to fly. Fairly easy to fly, but it does get buffeted by the wind very easily. The size, but the flight management system, like I said, it's a fun little airplane to fly at low altitude, so you can see the ground and some of the points of interest. So you can press on this little button, and you do get a little cursor that comes on. It allows you to see that little cursor there? It allows you to scroll so you can see. So let's put it right here. And then we'll scroll over a little bit. And we'll sort of get that in a little bit better spot for us to see. There we go. Alright, so everything's looking good. Barometric pressure, I'm just going to check it now that we're up in the air, and it didn't change at all. So we're going to fly at 3,000 feet, have a look around. Those big fluffy clouds that you see when you get down in the Texas area. Florida to some of this altitude. Checking that everything's okay here, and it is looking good. Fly into this cloud here and see what happens. So really your orientation would be totally lost. You can just rely on your instruments and something like that. So that's why this plane is so nice to fly. Look at all this stuff and see that everything's looking good. Altitude is at 3,000. to 2,600 feet. You have to scroll on the little knob for hundreds, and the larger area there will give you thousands. So now we're going to go down, turn on vertical speed mode, we'll descend 2,600. See the ground a little bit better and get ready for our localizer and approach. Up with runway 26 left. And when we get on localizer, we'll be watching to see if this lines up properly. We're at 2750 now. We should level off at 26. Gonna watch that. Make sure that it doesn't keep descending. This should light up 26 really. There it goes right now. So it gives you a good idea of the terrain rendition here. It's pretty impressive. Coming up to our turn shortly. Outside and see if I can see any of those planes. Sometimes, oh, there's one right there. UCA 4936. So we have them in sight. Not sure if they're landing at the same airport or not. So there's our turn. We'll watch this for the localizer. Once I get here, I'm going to hit localizer. We're not too far out. Outside, see if I can see the airport at all. Not sure how far away we are here. Towards the airport. Somewhere up here. I would assume. So we can scroll in now. Oh, we seem to want to go the wrong way. George Bush Airport shortly. So we're holding at 2600, which is good. Look at some of that terrain again. Localizer coming on. Let's have a look and see what we're looking like here. I'm going to put the localizer on now, and I'm going to put the approach hold. So it's white right now, GS. It should go, but we picked up the localizer. It should go green when we pick up the glide slope. And we should start descending. Localizer right now. So this should pick up the glide slope. Basically, right now, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on the instruments, your speed, so it's not too high, and watch its glide slope, see if we can pick it up. If not, you just have to take it off autopilot and land manually. If it refuses to catch the glide slope, but at 2,600 feet, we might be slightly under the glide slope, and we'll pick it up as we get closer to the runway. There's the green diamond there dropping. When it hits here, we should see this turn green. So I'm just going to cut the speed back a little bit. Flaps down. And I'm going to watch the speed. So we just picked up the glide slope there. As soon as that green diamond hit there. So let's just take a look outside here. Just watch our speed here. Got the flaps down to 16. See if I can bring it in for a nice landing. landings are what take practice. You know, just getting that nose right and then touching down gently. This plane does tend to glide along the runway a little bit. So I'm going to reduce my speed a bit. Because we are descending, so. Localizer is looking good here, so looks like we're lined up with the runway pretty close. I just don't want to reduce that speed a little bit. Just want to stay away from a stall situation. Put my flaps on full just before I get there. Flaps on full, so you can see we're really starting to slow down. So I just don't want to get too slow. Get into a stall mode. Speed is dropping slightly. So I'm controlling the speed with my throttle on my joystick. So see how close we are lined up. So looks like we're just a little off, as you can see from the instruments there. It doesn't really look like it's going to correct itself. So it worked really good on the localizer and the glide slope. Bring this in. So I'm bringing the speed down pretty good here. It's pretty close. Autopilot off. We're back. Idle. Okay. There we go. Nice landing. Get your flaps up. We can talk to air traffic control and get a gate. Just stop right here. Okay, so let me cut out some of this taxiing to the gate. Sometimes you got to go a long ways in these small aircraft to get to the gate. So anyway, let's go see where we're headed. Gate 75, it looks like here. See how far that is to go to. Got to be careful I don't get going too fast here. It's hard to control this thing. Just slow down a little bit here. So there won't be any ground service here other than you could request refueling, but that's it on these small planes. Sometimes there's a ground crew here giving us some direction. So I'm just going to try and slow this thing down a little bit. Try and get inside these blocks that they provide and see if we can get them to shut off. So we do have some ground crew here for this flight. Let's see if they give us any directions here. Looks like we're doing okay. Straight ahead, they're saying. Yeah, just keep going straight. They want us to go a little further. Okay. Very good. Let's take a look outside. Just going to go a little further here. Yeah. So that's it. Okay, thank you very much for joining me on this flight. I hope you got a few pointers on the Cirrus SR22, which is a really fun plane to fly. And as you can see, there aren't too many bugs in this thing, except, like I said, if you try to go forward in your flight and pick a spot like for here, for example, you know, so you don't have to do a long flight. What you'll find is your autopilot's off, and you often cannot reset your altitude for some reasons. So that might be something that'll be fixed in time. Okay, thank you very much for joining me, and catch you next time.